Coming up, a former Moorhead resident is facing charges related to child porn, how police were tipped off in the case. A state trooper running for office is accused of having an inappropriate conversation with a motorist. And how and why a local school district will soon return to serving full-price meals for students. Hello and welcome to the Nightly Review. I'm Tom Tucker. We begin with a look at tonight's headlines, then a closer look, with comments tonight from a candidate for the Fargo School Board who is pointing to alarming trends when it comes to the teaching profession. And in tonight's one-on-one conversation, how a local school district is expected to return to serving full-price meals for students in the fall. But first, tonight, a former Moorhead resident is facing several criminal charges after investigators say they found thousands of child porn images on his cell phones. Joshua Fenske is facing 6 felony charges each of disseminating pornographic work involving minors and possessing child porn. The most serious charges carry a maximum sentence of 15 years in prison. Police arrested Fenske after they say they received cyber tips that someone in the city was downloading child porn. A 36-year-old Moorhead man was found guilty on several drug-related charges for transporting 700 fentanyl pills and more than a pound of methamphetamine. Jerry Jerome Wise brought the drugs from Arizona into South Dakota. He was convicted in a federal jury trial in Sioux Falls. A sentencing date is now set for August 8th. Wise faces life in prison on the meth charge and up to 40 years on the fentanyl conviction. The Fargo Police Department has found 2 girls previously reported missing. Yesterday, police reported that 13-year-old Zayana Berlin was last seen near her home in South Fargo around 8 o'clock Monday night. And 12-year-old Sierra Nelson was last seen at Fargo North High School around 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon. Police tell us both girls were found this morning and are safe. No additional details are provided. A state trooper running for Fargo City Commission is accused of having an inappropriate conversation with a motorist. Trooper Ves Marinov says his handling of the stop was unwise and a mistake. Marinov engaged in a personal conversation with the woman and says he detained her further in the stop than was permissible. It happened last April in Trail County. Marinov says he has received a letter of warning regarding the incident. The Access to Baby Formula Act has passed both houses of Congress and is now awaiting the president's signature. The act, which North Dakota Senator John Hoeven helped introduce, looks to alleviate the baby formula shortage by increasing domestic production and ensuring the formula being imported is safe and accessible. Meanwhile, Senator Hoeven continues to press the Biden administration and the Department of Interior on the administration blocking oil and gas development on federal lands.
Energy costs are high. Look at what people are paying at the pump. Energy is part of this inflation cost we're seeing across all products.
Senator Hoeven says part of his plan would authorize the construction and operation of the Keystone XL pipeline, remove regulatory hurdles to increase liquefied natural gas exports, and prohibit any presidential moratoria on new energy leases. A North Dakota panel that regulates the state's energy industry is extending the deadline for proposals to build a natural gas pipeline across the state. The North Dakota Industrial Commission, headed by Governor Doug Burgum, voted yesterday to move the deadline for proposals to August 15th, after no applications were received by the initial deadline. The pipeline would run from oil fields on the western side of the state to the eastern side of North Dakota. A new report shows North Dakota's economy is expected to grow this year, despite talk of a nationwide recession. The report from NDSU uses trends, which follow historical data, which show growth in wages, salaries, the labor force, and the state's domestic product. The model also predicts falling unemployment rates. If the U.S. Supreme Court does overturn Roe v. Wade, an official with Planned Parenthood says the agency would then offer abortion services at a clinic in Moorhead. The other condition for that to happen is if North Dakota's only abortion clinic in Fargo does not relocate from Fargo. Planned Parenthood says it expects Fargo's Red River Women's Clinic to make the short move across the river by July 1st, if necessary. In Minnesota, billions of dollars remain in limbo as state lawmakers prepare to leave St. Paul. The legislative session came to an end Monday with retirement speeches, while tax, education, public safety, and other bills were left unfinished. Governor Tim Walz says no timeline is set for the next steps regarding incomplete legislation. The governor says he's ready to call lawmakers back into a special session. In a closer look tonight, Fargo School Board candidate Katie Christensen is pointing to a recent teacher survey, which points to alarming trends in the profession.
ND United, they had a survey recently. They recently surveyed all the teachers in the state, and we see that teachers are leaving the profession. And we see that a lot of teachers stated that they don't see themselves retiring from the profession, and that is terrifying.
Christensen says an exodus of educators could be on the horizon and says she'll fight, quote, tooth and nail to support teachers. She's one of 5 school board candidates endorsed by the Fargo Teachers Union. Christensen says public schools are the backbone of communities and says it's important to trust teachers.
At the end of the day, we really need to keep in mind that our teachers are those content area experts. So they have the degree in that content area. They have degrees in history. They have degrees in literature. They have degrees in math. And so we need to let them be those content area experts.
Christensen, a former teacher, says increasing job satisfaction among teachers will increase educational outcomes for students across the district. She is one of 15 candidates running for 5 seats coming open on the school board. Well, thanks for choosing the Nightly Review to stay up to date on all the news and happenings in the FM Metro. If you haven't done so already, please be sure to subscribe and hit the bell button below to make sure you don't miss the next episode. Weather-wise, there was quite a bit to like about what we saw earlier today. Hopefully that sunshine continues to stick around. Meteorologist Justin Storm is in the Skywatch Weather Center with a look at the forecast.
Thanks, Tom. As we head through this evening into tonight, skies will go mostly cloudy with a slight chance for an isolated shower into early Wednesday morning. Wind will be going light, but it will gust as high as the lower 20s through the afternoon of Wednesday with mostly cloudy skies. High temperatures near 61 degrees on Wednesday with a slight chance for a couple isolated or scattered showers as a storm system tracks just to our south, bringing more widespread rain into central and southern Minnesota. The sunshine will return for your Thursday, though, will warm things up quite a bit, close to 71 degrees with a south wind around 5 to 15.
It could happen to you or someone you love. One moment, one diagnosis can change everything. Thankfully, there's a program that helps caring people uplift families through a crisis. Lend a Hand Up, raising financial help and hope through community benefits and online campaigns. A program that boosts generosity so gifts go further. Lend a Hand Up helps you help your neighbors. Learn more and give at lendahandup.org.
Welcome back to the Nightly Review and tonight's one-on-one conversation. A big change is coming for students in Moorhead Area Public Schools beginning this fall. The district is expected to return to charging full-price meals. Ashley Schneider, the district's Director for Food and Nutrition Services, joined me to talk about why it's happening and the anticipated impact on students and their families.
So for the past 2 years, we've been operating under waivers that were set by the USDA that allowed us a lot of flexibilities with COVID. So they have not been renewed and will be expiring for us. The last day of school is next Friday, the 27th. And so that's when they're expiring for us. So what this means for families is that if they do not get extended, we will return to business as usual in the fall, which means that students will be charged based on their eligibility. So it'll be very important for families to fill out an application for educational benefits if they think they'll qualify, which will then allow them to eat at a reduced or a free, reduced cost or free. And then 2, it also, a lot of the waivers are in place that will affect the summer too. So, during COVID, we've been allowed to have parents pick up meals. Students didn't need to be present. They were able to take them home rather than eat them at the site, and all of those waivers are ending, which means so that even summer programming will be impacted, that students will have to be present. They'll have to eat in either our schools or the parks that we're at. and you can't take anything to go.
Heard this news that the USDA is ending these waivers after having them in place for 2 years to enhance food security. What was your initial thought or reaction?
Heartbroken. It just given it's more than just having no cost of meals to students. Again, it goes based on that, where COVID's not over, and we're still very much dealing with COVID and the aftermath repercussions of what has happened over the last couple of years. So asking us to try to go back to normal programming when we don't live in a normal world right now is really hard. And it's heartbreaking that we aren't getting the support that is very much needed in order to operate and in order to ensure that our students are getting fed. And that's what we're here for, and that's what's important, and that's what's hard to accept, is that we're taking that flexibility away.
So at this point, do you have any idea or estimate on the district's average cost per meal in the fall?
It's hard to say. We are currently working on pricing for next year. Because everything has been at no cost and we haven't really had to raise or deal with pricing for the last couple of years, it's difficult. And then with the cost of everything too. So we will be presenting to our board in the next month or two our prices for the summer, or for next school year. But I mean, with everything that's happened, there's more than likely going to be some increases due to costs and the cost of everything, unfortunately.
And I'd like to thank Ashley Schneider, the Food and Nutrition Services Director for Moorhead Area Public Schools, talking about anticipated price increases for school meals beginning next fall. Schneider says free and reduced meals will still be available to families who qualify. She says applications for that educational benefit and others will be mailed out after July 1st. Well, that will do it for this Tuesday night, May 24th, 2022. I'm Tom Tucker. Thanks for watching the Nightly Review.